Welcome, Ravens. I hope you liked that little intro, a little bit different from my normal one. So, another requested video. Thank you for those of you who are requesting videos. It really helps me with content options. So, unfortunately, the stars of the show are not wishing to make an appearance tonight, but I will be putting up some pictures here, hence why I've moved over to this side of the screen. And this was a video that occasionally the stars of the show are in, well, not this one in particular, but occasionally they're in my videos. And somebody requested that I did the origin story of my two beautiful babies.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you think you're coming? Do you want to come? Do you want to come too?
And in that first clip you would have seen my elder one. Yes, she's the eldest of the two, the first one I got. And she is the playful, old but playful Miss Roxy. And the other sleeping warthog is Miss Moo, or Mitzi. Let me tell you how they begin. So, back in 2009, the Griffin and I got together. And yes, it's been that long. And we were talking about animals, and I said I really wanted a cat. I was renting at the time in a very small-ish, it was kind of I think they term it a masonette. So from the outside it looked like a very big square bungalow, but it was actually 4 units with a walk-in, kind of have your dining room one side, kitchenette, and then open plan living, and then you had a staircase that goes up above to a gallery or platform bedroom and bathroom. Bathroom was of course sealed in, but the bedroom was, all you had was a banister and stairs, so it was completely open to the roof. Loved that little place. But I wanted a companion. So I knew a very long time ago that I wanted a black cat. I had a black cat once called Salem. Unfortunately, I had to give him up. He was the son of a cat that my flatmate had at the time, and I said, when she gives birth, if there's a black one, it's mine. And there was no question, that little cat, before its eyes were open, it was crawling on my knee. There was something between me and that cat. However, due to issues with landlord's work, I couldn't keep him. I had him for about 5 years, and I did give him up to a friend who looked after him until he sadly passed away. Then I decided, like I said, got with Griffin, decided I wanted another cat. And I looked everywhere for a cat. I wanted a black cat. I was very adamant it was going to be a black cat. And I'd seen a post on Facebook of somebody saying black cats don't very often get adopted. For some reason, people think they're bad luck. They are anything but bad luck. They're beautiful. They're some of the most affectionate cats in the world. And because of that, I was like, yeah, I want a black one and I'm going to adopt. So I went to all the usual places. I went to a few catteries, but there was nothing grabbing me. So I actually went to a place a bit like the RSPCA that we have in the UK called the Blue Cross, and they are the Red Cross for animals, the Blue Cross. I found a shelter north of, between Gloucester and Bristol. I can't remember exactly where it was, but there was this shelter, and I phoned them up and I went, I've seen on your website you have a black cat called Roxy. Is she taken? And they went, no, we are desperate for her to get a home. or she is going to end up on the we don't know what to do with this animal list, which I'm not going to mention. I don't want to trigger anybody. And it doesn't often happen in the UK. It's very much an American thing, I believe. However, we went and they said, we need to tell you a few things before you meet her. One, she doesn't like men. We have a male cattery assistant who comes in, cleans out the areas, does their food. She attacks him. If she's not attacking him, then she's sitting in the hutch part of her cattery unit, and she doesn't come out. She will occasionally come out for food, but she's kind of stopped eating. She's lost her personality, you know, all these kinds of things that were like, you know, she's a waste of time. That's how it felt. And I said, let me see her, because I have a feeling she's the cat for me. And they were like, okay. And they'd said to me on the phone, do you have a partner or do you have a husband? And I said, yes, my partner. They said, bring him with you, because we have to make sure that she's going to take to you. And if there's a problem, we don't want her attacking your partner. So Griffin and I went there, and I'd taken a little holographic, was it a holographic one? No, it was one of those cork or cardboard mice that has like the wrapped cord round it and the cord tail and the little ears and the nose. I took one of those, a blue one. And I went into the cattery hutch. They took me in first and couldn't see her. She was in her bed hiding area. And they called her. She wasn't coming out. She wasn't going to interact. So I went, it's all right, just leave me with her for a minute. Just close me in. And I just stood there very calmly, and there was this little shelf, and I put the mouse on the shelf. And out of the corner of my eye, this little nose appeared out of the hutch. And I said, if you want this, and I picked it up and dangled it, if you want it, you're going to have to come and get it. And I left it. And after about 45 seconds, I moved it a little bit like I was playing with the mouse. The next thing, there's this cat on the shelf, and she is all over this mouse. And they're like, oh, God, this is a good sign, this is a good sign. She let me pet her. She nuzzled me. She headbutted me. Very much, hi, I want to play with you interaction. For those of you who are cat owners, you'll know what interaction I'm talking about. And they said, this is all brilliant, this is wonderful. However, we need to make sure she's okay with your partner. So I said, well, do you want me to come out? And they said, no, in case anything happens, can you like be the buffer? I'm like, yes, of course. And he came in, they opened the hutch, they let him in, they shut the door behind him. And he went, hello, sweetheart. And she looked at him, and we thought, I'm ready to catch her if she goes. And she went, he put his hand out to her and let her come to him. And she sniffed. And she sniffed a bit more. And the next thing, she's jumped on his shoulder and on his head, wrapped her tail around, you know, like cats do when they sit up, quite upright, like an Egyptian cat statue that you see. But she'd wrapped her tail around her feet, and she just sat there for a couple of seconds. And then she was like, oh, I like this. And then started licking his head. And we're like, I think we're good. So we left the mouse. We said, we want her. That's it. I'm taking her. And they said, we've got to do a home check. So that was on the Saturday morning. This was in March 2012. I want to say 12. What year are we in now? Yeah, 2012, 2013. Might have been 2013. And they suggest, you know, this is wonderful. So we're like, right, okay, what's next? So they said we need to do a home visit. So they did come and see me in the home, and I said, look, I've got everything. I've got the money here. I've got £100 here to go and get things for her. I've budgeted everything. I'd been online. I'd taken a list of everything I wanted to get, from litter trays to poop scoops, litter, all these sorts of things, having taken note of what was in her cattery, what type of litter she liked. Got the list and went, this is what I've budgeted, this is what I've got, this is food, blah, blah, blah. I've got a vet round the corner. I've been registered with them previously, so it's not a problem. They know me. And yeah, what more do you need to know? They said the only other thing we need to tell you is that she is terrified and has a very flight or fight response to dogs. Do you have a dog? Do you have family with dogs? Does your partner have a dog? I'm like, no, don't have dogs at all. I'm like, okay, cool. Wouldn't let her out. So where I used to live was kind of off a dual carriageway. You went kind of up the road like 50 yards and then you turned off and there was like this big, fairly quiet estate. And we were kind of in the middle of it. But they said because we were very close to main roads, probably not a good idea. It was a cat roaming area and they weren't sure how she was going to adapt, having been with them for so long, to being an outdoor cat. So then they gave me more of a back history. Roxy was, back in 2012, 2013, there was a period of time where people were just up and leaving their houses. They couldn't afford things, a bit like the cost of living crisis we're going through now. But it was a recession. People couldn't afford houses, pets, whatever. And for some reason, the family she was with upped and moved. They're assuming it was a family. It was a 4-bedroomed house. And they'd left basically a very full litter tray, a big plate of food, a big container of biscuits, and left her behind. And it broke my heart. And I said, I want her. She is going to be so loved. They said because of that, we know that either a fox was trying to get to her because where her food was, they had big patio doors and it backed onto like a woodland area. They said they don't know if it was a fox or somebody who had a dog who was prowling the house trying to like maybe help her. But she's terrified of dogs. So whatever you do, if you do take her outside, we suggest a lead. Okay, I used to walk my other cat, it's not a problem. So I said, well, I'm happy and safer having house cats anyway. I don't like the idea of cats out all day and night roaming. I know they are roaming animals. But on a personal basis, I've always had house cats. They have a lot of space to roam around. The only places they're not allowed, the bathroom, kitchen counters. Anywhere else, they can go. So they were like, yeah, you can have her. It's all finalised. So that was on the Monday. And I went to pick her up on the Wednesday. I got the day off work, managed to get everything together, managed to get the day off because it had been the Monday night. So I couldn't take the next day. I said, well, oh, here she is. Hi. Yeah, come say hi. Here she is. So on the Wednesday, I went and picked up, come and sit down properly. Stop showing your bits to everyone. I picked up this little bugger who doesn't want cuddles today. He's just caught a nail in my top. But I'll put up loads of pictures. So there'll be pictures flashing up all through this. And yeah, I brought her home. And she has been my shadow since day one, haven't you, Bear? Wherever I am, you are. Isn't that right? She's on the bed looking at me like, you've made the bed, Mum. What's going on? It's not a mess. Daddy's side is tidy and I want to sleep there. You being a good girl? She's not talking today. So that's Roxy. She has been with me since, 11 years. We weren't sure of her age. We thought, they said she was probably 2 or 3 years old. About 2-3 years ago, I think it was before I got sick, we took them to get their annual checkup and she was seen by a Romanian vet. I'm not allowed to say that word. Doctor. Sorry, it's in her presence. She'll get funny. So yeah, she went to see a Romanian doctor who gave her jabs and he said that he could tell from her teeth, gums, eyes and paws, even though she was a house cat, and general condition of her, that she was actually older than we thought she was. So when we saw this doctor, we thought at the time she was around 10 years old, maybe 11 years old, maybe edging towards somewhere between 10 and 12 years old at this point. And no, you were a bit older, weren't you, Poppet? So we're currently of the belief, maybe it was it last year? Was it last year? Oh, my years are gone, sorry, with my brain the way it is. Anyway, basically it turns out that when I got her, she was actually 4 years old, not 2 like we thought she was. But because she was so tiny and so skinny at the time, they couldn't tell. So you, my Poppet, are currently how old? Mummy's had you for 11 years now, because you've just had another birthday. So you're about 15. Although we don't know how old you are. So because I don't know when she was born, and I don't have any of her history, she's somewhere around 14 or 15. But currently 15, according to her. We think, don't we? 14, 15, somewhere around there. Her paws are starting to go a little bit grey. But that's really the only part of her. Her front paws have started to get a lot of white hair. She jumps around like a mad thing. She still gets the zoomies. She has the evening poo and then tries to escape it by running upstairs and running around the house. She is very inquisitive. She's into everything. She's one of those cats that if I was to get on my knees on the floor and look under the couch for something, will you stop it? See what I mean? She's wobbling the... Leave it alone. If I was to bend down, get on the floor, look under the couch for something, she would be down there going, what are you looking at? What are you looking for? Can I help? Can I have a bit? What have you got? She is very cuddly. She has to sleep on the bed between myself and the Griffin and get cuddled like a baby. So if I'm sleeping on this side, I've normally got a hand under the pillow and I have to put my arm over her like a baby and either tuck it right underneath and pull her into my chest area, or round the bum, hold her tail and her back paws and tickle her belly, and she will sleep like that for hours unless she's hungry. She is my nurse. She's the sensible one of the two. Yeah, you stopped licking your bum when I said that, didn't you? She's not the sensible one of the two at all. She's a bit of a twat. In the nicest possible way, she's a bit of a twat. She knocks things off. She has no regard for personal space. And she's the most wonderful cat I've ever owned. She's beautiful. She's very sweet. She's very vocal. She did at one point get a throat infection. So she's only been sick twice in her life. Once was when her sister, and this was in my old house before I moved in with the Griffin, I had wooden floors in the bedroom, and her sister got under the bed and got her head stuck in the handbag of a carrier. I didn't even know she was there. Got in the hole of the handle of a carrier bag, ran out from under the bed because she got spooked by the neighbours next door, frightened the living daylights out of Roxy. Roxy turns, gets her claws caught in the wood and ripped one out. Didn't even realise she'd done it until she wouldn't let me near her paw later in the day, and I realised she was missing a claw and it was very red, and she had to have a little sock. I don't have pictures of her sock, but she had little baby socks and a tiny bit of tape around the top just to protect it while it healed for about 48 hours, and then we took it off and she was fine. Big fuss over nothing really, a bit like breaking a nail. And then the only other time was when I was in the house I originally was in when I got her. She got ill. It wasn't cat flu, it wasn't anything. She just got the feline version of laryngitis, probably from screaming at her sister too much, and she lost her meow. So she used to have a very sweet, beautiful, pretty, delicate meow. Now she sounds like Scouse Cat. If you haven't seen Scouse Cat, go and look on TikTok. Go and have a look and look up the hashtag of Scouse Cat. It is the funniest thing you've ever heard, but that is what she sounds like. And that's it. That's Roxy. She's my shadow, my nursemaid. She knows when my blood sugars are too high. She knows when they're too low. She knows when it's bedtime. She is better than any alarm clock in the world. She will watch me and make sure that in the mornings, so I carry my little meds bag round with me. I do my evening meds downstairs, my morning meds first thing I do when I wake up. And she will literally go and sit on the griffin in the mornings, absolutely stock still, until she knows I've done my meds, and then she'll come over and headbutt me, and then she'll start buggering about on the bed again. She's very, very good. She totally understands. She gives me evils, she gives me grief, but she's beautiful. So that is Roxy's origin story. Mitzi. Mitzi was because Roxy got very territorial. I think that's the only word to put it. So Roxy became, when the griffin would come over, we'd sit, we'd cuddle on the sofa, you know, we were still in the honeymoon years, and she started, if he was sat next to me and he went to put his arm around me, she'd go to bite him. She became mummy obsessed. So we spoke to the vet, we spoke to a friend of mine who's got a psychologist for one of her animals because it has severe behaviour problems, and I said, would you mind asking them, I know they do dogs not cats, would you mind asking them what is the best solution here? What do I do? Do I punish her? Do I what? And they literally all came back and went, get another cat. She needs something to dominate that isn't you. She needs to know you are the alpha. And we tried the gentle pinning down on her side, like they do in lion prides. We'd tried holding the scruff on her neck and holding her still, not to hurt her, not picking her up, just holding her. We'd tried all sorts of things, all the bits. Only would never smack her, would never hit her across the nose, and would never spray her with water. Those were my, no, I'm not doing that. But when it came to dominance, of being able to hold her down for a few seconds to show, actually, no, you're not in charge, it didn't work. And we tried for months with her until we decided we're getting another cat. So, checked with my landlord and went, do you mind if I get another one? He went, no, you're really good with them. You've had this one for like however long. It's great. It's not a problem. You can have another one. Really good landlord. So I'm like, okay, cool. What am I going to get? So at the time, and I really wish I'd changed their names, but because they'd been so used to having their names, I didn't. And Roxy and Mitzi, yes, they stand like two strippers, but I kind of had a plan in my head that I wanted a black cat and I wanted a silver or grey cat, and they were going to be called Razor and Blade. And then I got a female black cat whose name was Roxy, and what I wanted to do was change her name to Audrey, which I, to this day, I wish I'd done it, and I'll explain why. So Rox has got an affinity for Audrey Hepburn, Moon River from Breakfast at Tiffany's, because my favourite film, I used to watch it a lot, and when Moon River came on, she used to get quite cosy with me, and when I took her to the vets, I would sing it to her or hum it, and she'd chill out. So I wanted to call her Audrey. Never did it, never changed her name. She was quite stuck on her name. So when I was looking for another cat, I was looking for a grey one or another black one. Couldn't really find anything. Then I came across a rescue cattery near me called New Start. I say near me, it's still a good, 40 mile away from where I live. But it's called New Start Cat Rescue, and they were desperately looking for homes. Went on their website, what have you got, who have you got? Went on their Facebook, what have you got? And I found a cat called Bex, or Becky, or I can't remember, I think it was something like that. And she was a black and brown tabby tortoise shell kind of thing. And they said she's, you know, a bit frail. She's had some health issues, but she's good now. Would do well with another cat. So I said, well, maybe that's what Rox needs. Maybe it's something she needs to look after. Unfortunately, when we got there, the cat was vicious. And when I mean vicious, I mean I just put my hand up to they hadn't even opened the crate, and I just put my hand up to it, because most animals will smell you first and then they'll rub the cage if they want to talk to you. Oh no, she lashed out at me. She tried to bite me through the thing. She was vicious. And somebody else, one of the girls that worked there, said, it's all right, I'm going to get her out. She doesn't like the cage. And I went, okay, fair enough. And as she put her hand in, the cat tore down her arm. And I went, no, I can't. My cat is quite sensitive. I don't want fights like this going on. So I'm really sorry. Now, slight trigger warning. Unfortunately, the cat that I was going to get and was very interested in getting, unfortunately had to be put to sleep. It turned out she had an inoperable brain tumour, which was why she was lashing out. She was in a lot of pain. She was quite old as well. I think she was 9 or 10 years old. And she'd already had a lot of health issues. When they scanned her again, they started to realise she had cancer in her bones, and it just wasn't feasible to keep her in the state she was in. She started to go off food, and this was all like two or 3 weeks afterwards. They messaged me and let me know this had happened, and they said, we're really sorry. But so there was that. So we carried on walking around, and none of the cats, they were all beautiful, but none of them were what I was looking for. They were, in their descriptions, I'm not saying that, you know, I was looking for a black or a grey cat. They had quite a few black cats, but there was a lot of stickers on the thing that said, cannot be homed with another animal, can't be, must be an outdoor cat. And because of the issues I had with Roxy, I needed a cat that could be indoors. So we went round and round and round, and I'm like, there's nothing. No, there's nothing. And this woman came up to me and she went, are you okay? I said, I'm looking for another cat. You might be able to help me. Every cat I've looked at, pretty much, that has been interested in me is very much outdoor, can't be with another animal. I've already got one cat and she's an indoor only cat for behavioural reasons and because of where I live. And she went, I've got the cat for you. And I went, oh, okay. She went, can you hang around, because she's actually at my house, because I'm currently fostering her, but she is ready for rehoming. If you want her, you can take her today. So I'm like, okay, what's she like with other animals? She said, well, she's 13 months old. She's just had 3 weeks free post-weaning of a litter of 7. And she is the most adorable thing you've ever seen. And she pulled up a picture on her phone, and this is the picture they showed me. And I'm like, yes, please. Thank you very much. Go get her. She was stunning. She was cute. She took to the Griffin like, oh, bread and butter. They were a match made in heaven. And I said, you know, is she going to be all right? You know, she definitely, without her kittens, she went, most of her kittens have gone. They're like 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks old. So they rehomed from 9 weeks old, and it was 3 weeks. So yeah, they were about 12 weeks old. She went, that absolutely fine. They don't bother with her. She's not the best maternal mother anyway. She kind of slaps them around and thinks they're toys. She's very kitten-like still. Let me go get her. I'll be 10 minutes. I literally live down the road. So they made us a cup of coffee. We wandered around some of the other animals. And she came back with this tiny, little, scrawny, beautiful calico. which from the pictures again that I'll be putting up, she is the most adorable thing you've ever seen. And the amount of people who have said she's beautiful. I did have somebody message me on Facebook saying they're going to steal her, and I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. One, you don't know where I live. Two, they'd let you in the house, they'd never let you out again. And three, with the size of her now, you'd never lift her. So when we got her, she was a tiny, scrappy 2.5 kilos. Roxy currently weighs 3.65 kilos. Mitzi was tiny. The food they were giving her, she was having a lot of diarrhea problems with it, so I changed her off that almost instantly. And yeah, she came home the same day. They microchipped her. Roxy was already microchipped, but they microchipped her. She'd been done, so I think after 8 weeks she'd been spayed, so there was no chance of another litter. And that was that. So she had been apparently living in a house. She'd not been outside, and you could tell when you touched her paws, they're like velvet. They are so smooth, and they're baby pink. So there's no marks, there's no cuts, no grazes, no calluses from walking on pavements. She has been a completely pampered puss her whole life. She, like I said, was this tiny little thing, and I'll put up a picture here now of the first night she was with us. This is how she slept in the crate that we borrowed, because we had to keep them separated because I didn't have a room to put her in, because my house had no doors, apart from the bathroom, and she wasn't going in there. So I had to have a crate so as I could introduce them slowly. And that's how she slept. She was the most gorgeous little thing, and she's just beautiful. She's a daddy's girl. So when daddy used to come over and visit, not in any dodgy connotation, but the Griffin's her daddy. When he'd come over and visit me, because at the time we weren't living together, she would be on his lap. She was there. That's my dad. She's with mum. We're good. We've got one cat each. That kind of situation. She's grown a lot. What? Oh, now you're getting talkative. It's not time yet. You've got another hour. Got to wait till daddy's back. Sorry, she's after her dinner. So there's Roxy kicking off. Told you, alarm clocks. Where was I? Yeah, she's grown. This is a picture of them currently in their glory. Roxy currently weighing a measly 3.6 kilos. Mitzi weighing over twice that. However, before anyone comes at me for animal cruelty, animal abuse, make her lose weight, let me tell you, if they get treats, and I'm talking dreamies, if they get those, if they have 5 each, the tiny little parcels, 5. They are not allowed the cheese ones because they're too fattening. So they have the beef, the turkey, the duck, or the chicken. If they have other treats, they are dried meat, like the little cubes of like dried duck and things like that, dried chicken, or the occasional the Wheatox sticks, and they don't get them very often. They've had 4 bags of Dreamies go out of date because they don't get them often enough. They get them on their birthday, so we've created dates for them. So Roxy is 21st September, Mitz is the 21st of June, and they get 5 treats each. Christmas, they get 5 treats each. If they've been to the vet the day after, because they won't eat treats once they've been to the vet, the day after they get a couple of treats each, and on the odd occasion that they get a whole treat stick to themselves is probably 4 times a year. So I'm not somebody who constantly feeds them. As for food, we measure everything by the scoops that come with the biscuit containers. They have a scoop of biscuits shared, a big scoop shared during the day because we're not here. They get fed at night round about 10 o'clock. And the packets of gourmet cat food. So they are 25 grams each and they get roughly half. That's one meal each, half a pack. And then whenever they deem they want food, somewhere between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m, yes, that's the Griffin's job. He will do the night feed. They get another packet shared. During the day, they have a scoop of biscuits shared. And at about 6 o'clock in the evening, they occasionally get a top up, not every day. That is all they eat. They have a water fountain, which they adore. They are not overfed. They run around like mad things. And one of the vets said to me, well, you need to make sure Mitzi loses weight. And I said to her, on the day that she cannot run round the house and jump up a 6-foot cat tower, 6 foot, and I'm talking to the top without stumbling, she just goes straight up from the floor, that's when I'll worry about her joints and her weight. Most of her weight is fur. Any of you have had cats who have had litters, the stomachs hang a little bit, that's what it is. It's never going to go back. She's not going to sit and do sit-ups and press-ups, but they are not overfed. And I had one vet tell me, I want you to write down everything that they eat for a month. And I took it in and she went through all the nutritional facts and she went, oh, you're actually underfeeding them. I went, well, you told me I was overfeeding and I haven't changed their diet. So they are very fussy on their food. I know people will say things like IAMS, put them on raw meat. No, they don't get fed human food that is, unless it is meat, like cooked meat. The only thing Roxy will eat is raw bacon, but it's a little bit, we're talking like tiny amounts. Ham, chicken, if I'm making sandwiches and I've got cooked chicken, they will always get a little bit of meat. They don't get anything that's seasoned, so if you've got like salami or anything like that, they never get it. They are pretty much just their cat food. They do get the ones with the vegetables in, so they are getting vegetables. And if they're sick, of course, I cook them chicken. But they do have the gourmet food, which I've compared to all the other foods out there, your Whiskers, your Go-Cat, your Felix, all that's in the UK. Supermarket own brands. And it's actually the only one that uses filleted fish and meat. So that's what they get, except the one with the prawns in, because they don't like it. So they don't get like the duos and stuff. But all the meats, they eat all the meats. Their favourite foods, Roxy is beef, Moo Moo is chicken. And they have various nicknames. So Roxy is Roxy, Miss Rox, Rox, Bear, Bear, Pain in the Ass. What else are you? Bear. No, she's gone again. Mitzi is Mitzi, Mitzi Moo. Oh, she gets Boo Boo sometimes. Mitzi is Moo, Mitzi Moo, Moo Moo. Chunky Butt. Chonka. You know, all the squidgy things. Mitzi's favourite thing, head fuss. Top of the head, scratch like that, with nails, hence why I keep my nails fairly long, and her ears go flat and her face all screws up and it's so cute. Roxy's favourite thing, getting as close to me as humanly possible, whether that be up a jumper, or just as close as she can get to me. That is where she likes to be. Roxy plays fetch, so little toys, if you throw them for her, she will bring them back. And she will do that lots. It's not like a one or twice thing. We're talking about one point I had her running up and downstairs for 3 hours because she just loves it. She just loves running around, bringing me something, gifting me. They leave toys in the bed. Those are our little gifts. It depends how much we've been loved as to how many toys we've got around the bed. I'll have a look. Currently I have a sparkly unicorn and the Griffin has a catnip fish. That's kind of the level we're at. What else have you got? Annoying eyes, annoying meow. You sit on the black carpet and trip us up. She likes to hide under the blankets. She's a blanket lover, is Roxy. And Moo is a pod dweller. So we have the fluffy pods. Can I pick one up and show you? Oh, sorry, I've not hoovered it, but we have these things, and Mitzi absolutely adores these. She has at least, where has she got them? One in the office, one in the bedroom, one in the lounge. There might actually be two in the office. So yeah, that's what they are. Roxy likes to sleep anywhere I am. She also likes the crow's nest, which is the top of the 6-foot cat tower. There's a tiny little bed pod and she likes to get into that. Mainly because Moo doesn't fit and is out of the way. And yeah, that's it. Moo hates going outside. We tried to get her outside once and she sat in the plant pot and went, no, I'm not doing it. So they are purely house cats. They are beautiful and they are my babies and I love them to bits. So yeah, that's it for those of you who wanted their origin stories. Sorry if I've now started to waffle. So it's getting late. I am filming this way in advance of when it's going. It's probably going up in 2 months, and I'll tell you why. This is going up in June because of the video that's going up after this one in June is a review of this, which is my new YouTube planner. But I'm filming it early because I'm going on holiday. I've got a lot of content to get done and I need to film when I can. My holiday stuff is all planned out, what I'm going to do. I mean, it's April at the moment and pretty much the whole of May is going to be holiday related vlogs and content. But I'll come to that in my next one. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learnt something about my animals. I love them to bits and they're amazing. So I'll leave it there with a few more clips of my little furry friends.